know about the chemical structure and nature of whey protein powder and creatine powder, all we need is a bit more information to become informed consumers. Should we buy this brand because it says 40 grams of protein per scoop of powder, or this one because it has aesthetic packaging? And can we take both creatine and protein powder at the same time? Come along to know more about it. So the first step to getting into consuming creatine and whey protein powder is to research on which one to buy. We'll look at three factors for this, namely, the first one is ingredients list, second one is protein content, and third one is FDA regulations. Whey protein powders come in three main types: whey protein concentrate or WPC, whey protein isolate, and whey protein hydrolysate. WPC is the recommended type for average athletes and fitness enthusiasts as it is the most cost effective. It typically has a protein concentration between 50 to 90%. Next, isolate has a high protein concentration, around 95%, and should have less fillers added. Finally, hydrolysate contains the highest protein concentration of 99% at the highest price point. As for creatine, although there are many types, creatine monohydrate is the most commonly used form and the one most studied. Both creatine and whey protein powders can come in blends that contain added fillers, like thickening agents, added carbohydrates, or added amino acids. Thus, the less ingredients, the better. This would indicate that the product sticks to mostly pure whey protein or pure creatine rather than relying heavily on fillers. Additionally, it is really important to look into the function of each ingredient present. The usual ingredients are thickening agents like xanthan gum to give texture, artificial flavorings and sweeteners like sucralose and acesulfame potassium, extra carbohydrate sources like maltodextrin, and finally, additional cheap amino acids like glycine, taurine, or glutamine.
According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, the recommended nutritional value of a good whey protein powder contains the following: 100 to 200 calories, 20 to 30 grams of protein, and less than 5 grams of sugar per standard serving. Thus, a good product should provide at least 15 grams of protein per 100 calories. We must note, however, that the protein content written on the nutritional label or packaging of a product is not necessarily accurate. Since the Kell-Bell method identifies protein based on nitrogen content, it can be manipulated by adding more nitrogen-containing ingredients to the product. This is where additional cheap amino acids come in, as they are able to increase nitrogen content without significantly adding to protein count. This leads to an inaccurate protein content label, which is why it is crucial to always read the ingredients list of each product. It is also important to check whether certain products meet the safety standards that are required, because they do not regulate supplements the same way as they do drugs and medicine. Creatine, for example, can contain heavy metals such as lead, mercury, cadmium, and other potentially harmful contaminants. Thus, we must always look for certain labels or logos that certify the safety of specific products. Of these labels, the first is the NSF Certified Sport logo, a certification which can only be achieved when dietary supplements are tested to be uncontaminated and safe for human consumption. Second is the Creapure logo for creatine products, which is a German manufacturer that is constantly being tested for safe, uncontaminated creatine. Thus, if any creatine products have their logo, rest assured that these are safe for your use. Lastly, we have the Informed Sport logo, which also tests and identifies products for banned substances. Anything that has their logo is certified to be up to their safety standards and should be part of any athlete's recommended products.
The anabolic window is a period found 30 to 60 minutes after a workout where it is the best time to consume protein for muscle growth and recovery. A study showed that consuming high quality protein before and after exercise, around 4 to 6 hours apart, is the best for increasing muscle mass. And the anabolic window isn't that strict because your muscles can stay sensitized to protein for 24 hours even after exercising. Creatine should also be taken in a similar manner, approximately 1 to 2 hours before or after exercise. This way, you'll be able to maximize the effects of both whey protein powder and creatine. It must be noted, however, that creatine supplements, and while manufacturers advise minors to avoid consumption, do not have any scientifically based evidence to suggest any harm to younger adults. And thus, the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition recommends that younger individuals be allowed to consume creatine as a nutritional strategy as long as these individuals are knowledgeable about creatine use, take the recommended amount, and have proper diets and active lifestyles. But we must take note that the same cannot be said for whey protein powders. Young individuals who have balanced and proper diets that meet their daily nutritional requirements are discouraged from consuming whey protein supplements, as excess amounts may bring health risks. To keep it short, intake for these supplements should be kept in moderation and should be consumed along with a proper diet and healthy lifestyle to achieve maximum benefits. Even though they have different functions, they are still sometimes used together by athletes and people who work out. According to a study, combining these supplements with resistance training may lead to greater improvements in muscle mass and strength compared to taking only one of them. This combination can be beneficial because creatine helps improve one's performance during workouts, which allows people to train harder and perform more repetitions. On the other hand, whey protein helps the muscle recover and rebuild after a heavy workout session.
With the evidence shown, both whey protein and creatine powder can be effective supplements as long as they are used properly. However, they work in different ways. Whey protein is for muscle repair and growth after exercise, while creatine powder helps to supply your muscles with quick energy during short and intense workouts. Now that we've cleared up the science behind these supplements, let's see whether Charles and Louise have settled their argument.
See bro, ayaw mo pa maniwala sa akin eh. It's effective naman eh.
Oo nga bro, tama ka. Suksijit ka talaga. Pero bro, of course man, supplements alone is not enough talaga. Dapat sabay with workout and proper diet, na?
That's true bro. Let's get our gains together.